In a quiet neighborhood, there stood a house that everyone avoided. The house on Maple Street had been empty for 12 years. No one dared to go near it, not even on Halloween night. The windows were broken, the front door hung crooked on its hinges. But the most terrifying thing was not the house itself. It was what happened to the last family who lived there. On October 15, 2012, the Morrison family moved into the house. Sarah Morrison, her husband David, and their 7-year-old daughter Emma. They got the house for an incredibly low price. The realtor said it was a bargain, a fresh start for a young family. But she never told them why the price was so low. She never mentioned the previous owners. The first night in the house, Sarah heard strange noises coming from the basement. Scratching sounds, like fingernails on concrete. David dismissed it as old pipes or maybe rats in the walls. But Emma refused to sleep in her bedroom on the second floor. She said there was a man standing in the corner, watching her. A man with no face. David and Sarah thought it was just her imagination, the stress of moving to a new home. They were wrong. On the third night, Sarah woke up at 3:17 in the morning. The house was completely silent, too silent. She walked downstairs to get water and noticed something strange. The basement door was wide open. She knew David had locked it before bed because the lock was broken and it would swing open. Sarah stood at the top of the basement stairs, staring down into the darkness. A cold breath touched the back of her neck. She spun around, but no one was there. Then she heard it, a child's voice singing from the basement. Ring around the rosy, a pocket full of posies. But it was not Emma's voice. This voice was older, distorted, wrong. Sarah ran back upstairs and woke David. Together they searched the entire house, but found nothing. Emma was fast asleep in their bed where she had been all night. The next morning, David decided to investigate the basement himself. He found old furniture covered in dust, broken boxes, and then something that made his blood run cold. Behind a stack of wooden crates, there was a small door. A door that led to a hidden room. David opened it and stepped inside. The room was tiny, barely 6 feet wide. The walls were covered in scratch marks, deep gouges in the concrete. In the corner, there was a child's shoe, old and rotted. And on the floor, written in something dark and dried, were the words "Help me." David stumbled backward and called the police immediately. When the police arrived, they brought forensic experts and dogs. What they found in that hidden room shocked the entire town. Beneath the concrete floor, they discovered the remains of 3 children. All under the age of 10. All had been missing for over 20 years. The previous owner of the house, a man named Robert Henley, had been a quiet neighbor. He worked as a school janitor and always smiled at the kids in the neighborhood. No one suspected him. But in 1992, several children went missing from Maple Street. The cases went cold. Robert Henley died in 2011 from a heart attack. He took his secrets to the grave, or so everyone thought. The Morrison family moved out that same day. They never returned to the house on Maple Street. But here is where the story takes a darker turn. After the discovery, the house was supposed to be demolished. But before that could happen, something strange occurred. A homeless man broke into the house looking for shelter. He was found 3 days later, sitting in the hidden room, rocking back and forth. He kept repeating the same sentence over and over. They never left. The man was taken to a psychiatric hospital, but he died 2 weeks later. The cause of death was listed as unknown. Since then, 5 more people have entered the house. None of them stayed longer than a few hours before running out in terror. They all reported the same thing: children's voices singing in the basement. Scratching sounds from inside the walls. And a man with no face standing in the corner of the second-floor bedroom. The house on Maple Street still stands today. Boarded up, surrounded by a chain-link fence. But sometimes, late at night, neighbors report seeing lights flickering in the windows. And if you listen closely, you can still hear them. The children, singing their song. Ring around the rosy. A pocket full of posies. Ashes, ashes. We all fall down.